My voice is not as good as it used to be. My voice is worse than it's ever been. I don't think I'll ever be as good as I used to be. I think the hardest thing that I find for my older students is maybe you sang in choir decades ago, or maybe you've never sung, or you might even already be taking voice lessons, and some days you feel incredible, and then some days you're like, should I even be investing in this at my age? If any of that sounds familiar, and if you're 50, 60, 70, and singing has always been in the back of your mind for years, I want you to stick around for the next few minutes. Today I'm talking about 5 truths about singing after 50. Now, some of it is biology, and some of it is mindset, but all of it is stuff I don't think gets talked about honestly enough. And as someone who has mostly people over 50 in my studio, I have an astute understanding of what it is to use the voice at that age and what it is to start learning to sing at that age, or even return to singing at over 50. So from my experience as well as my knowledge as a voice teacher, I really wanted to speak to this and hopefully give you encouragement and understanding about your own voice. Truth number 1, your voice has changed. Hormonal shifts like menopause, andropause do affect your vocal folds. Your vocal fold tissue will begin to thin slightly. There's also less elasticity. It can also show up as dryness, stamina differences, changes in your range and response might shift from day to day. And for some of you, it's not just hormones. It's hoarseness that shows up more readily and easily. It's acid reflux that's quietly affecting your voice. And if that's you, you're not imagining it. But let me be very clear. This is not decline. It's a recalibration. It's essentially a different mechanism. I often have students who come to me with their voices where they are now, over 50, and they say, my voice is not as good as it used to be. My voice is worse than it's ever been. I don't think I'll ever be as good as I used to be. And I want to cut that off immediately because the truth of it is it's a different mechanism. It's an entirely different voice. And I think the best example I can use for that is if you grew up driving cars with automatic shift. Your car is an automatic car, and somebody gives you an amazing vehicle, but it's a manual shift. So you now have to learn how to use a manual shift, a stick shift. When you first start using it, it's terrible. That car seems like it doesn't know how to be a car. Is it the car's fault? Absolutely not. Obviously, we would know, oh, I just need to learn how to use a manual shift. Even if it's an incredible car with incredible speed and capabilities, if I don't know how to work a stick shift, then you will never see the potential of this vehicle. So it's on me to learn how to use this machine the way it needs to be used. I can't use the same technique and style that I did when I was driving the automatic. That is using your voice now. Your voice used to be an automatic. It's now a stick shift, and you're still trying to use it like an automatic. It seems like something's wrong with the mechanism when in fact it's a new machine. It's about learning the voice you have today and not chasing the one you remember or you think you remember. I find that a lot of people forget what it was like when they were first coming into their voice. You might forget what it was like to start learning how to work with your passaggio, deal with a break, deal with cracks in your voice. And your memory of what your voice used to be is clouded by nostalgia. And so, honestly, you might not even remember what your voice truly was like. And if you're only remembering the good things, you're probably only remembering the finished product. And now that you're having to relearn what it takes to develop the voice, you have to have that same patience now at another age, but you have to have that same patience now with a different voice, but you have to have that same patience that you did then. Truth number 2, your body carries experience. Long-standing tension patterns like jaw tension, tongue tension, neck tension, breathing habits that are unsupportive, these things build up over decades, not just years. Life and medical history also shape coordination. And practically speaking, things like diaphragm flexibility, rib flexibility, stamina, posture, all these things are trainable. However, you're trying to train them on the new mechanism, the new body that you're using to sing with. We don't want to think of it as getting back to the old, there's no point in thinking that way because this is not the old. This is a new If you can imagine that, over 50 and you're saying this is new, this is a new body. If we think of it as we're building something new as opposed to trying to reach back to something old, you will be better off and you'll actually see the progress you're able to make because you're not comparing it to an old somebody. You're going to connect it to who you are today, and you will hear that development happen in real time and recognize, oh, I can still grow. I can still be new. Singing is a part of a body that has existed for many years. And so it comes with history, it comes with awareness, it comes with habits and patterns. And with that awareness, we have to build coordination through that awareness and not by force. Truth number 3. Your learning skills are strong. I've spoken about this in a previous video, but there is truly something so valuable about knowing how to learn. And when you get to a certain age, you have that experience in you. It's innate now. You've been learning your whole life. So you know not only how to learn, but how best to learn for yourself. This is all incredibly valuable when you're learning how to sing and when you're relearning your voice or relearning your vocal mechanism. I don't think we make a big enough deal about how important it is to know how to learn. And as someone who's taught so many age groups, I can tell you right now, in your 20s, you're still learning how to learn. I can't tell you how many times I have to beg people under 30 years old to practice voice. They're in lessons. They're in school even for voice. But you have to tell them, please, please practice. Please, please practice. It will make you better. My students who are over 50 never have to be asked. In fact, they're begging me, what should I do? Give me stuff to do for my practice. My students who are over 50 understand muscle memory because they actually have it. They have it from other things they've done in their lives. So they recognize, oh, muscle memory would make all of this so much easier. That way I don't have to constantly think every time I want to open my mouth to sing. My body can automatically go into autopilot because I have the muscle memory of good technique. I think the hardest thing that I find for my older students is having patience with yourself because you are now used to being an expert. You're used to being good at things. You get to a certain age and you're no longer a novice. You're no longer beginning. You're no longer learning things for the first time. For the most part, what you spend most of your time doing is things you're good at. And then you come into voice lessons and you're struggling to breathe. Literally, you're having to learn how to breathe for singing specifically. And you have to be patient with the fact that your body doesn't understand what you're asking it to do. And if you're somebody who's returning, be it from taking a very long hiatus or injury, even more so, you're remembering, I used to know how to do this. Why don't I still know how to do this? I'm going to give you permission to consistently make mistakes. That is something I've learned that I have to tell my students of a certain age. Please give yourself the room to make mistakes. We only get good at this by failing over and over again. If you are so cautious about making mistakes that you won't let yourself fail, you won't let yourself make ugly sounds, you won't give yourself room, you're not gonna really get good at this. I just want to make sure that I make sure you know that you have to give yourself room to make mistakes. This is how we grow, this is how we understand. It's hard, I think, because when you're intellectually understanding the concepts, when the skill and the technique makes so much sense to you intellectually in your mind, but your body hasn't gotten on board, your body isn't in agreement yet, it's quite frustrating. It's quite frustrating because you're like, I get it. I get what you're asking me to do. I don't know why I'm not doing it. You have to have patience because that anger and frustration can turn into a tension that becomes the self-fulfilling prophecy of I can't do this. And yes, you can. Truth number 4, your inner dialogue matters. It's the gap between I am incredibly competent in every other part of my life and I sound shaky in voice lessons. And you'll think things like, I should already have this, or why is this taking so long? Like I said, these things take time. There is no should. I should be able to, and it shouldn't take this much time. That's not correct, but also you're basing it off of already knowing how to do a lot of things. If you don't truly remember how long it took to get good at this when you were younger, if you've ever been good at this, for some of you, this is your first time trying this, and you're already in a, I should already, no. It takes time. It takes time, and your body will show you evidence of progress if we're looking correctly. If we're aiming for perfection immediately, you'll never see the small progress. You'll never see the small wins. But the wins are how we get where we're going. And you're only going to keep going. You're only going to want to continue practicing if you give yourself the opportunity to recognize the wins. That mental block is actually more effective in stopping you from growing than the biological stuff. And I'm not just saying that because it's a cute thing to say, because I'm sure it's encouraging to hear it, but especially for my older folks, platitudes and things like that only go so far. It doesn't work if it doesn't work. What I will say is stick with it. Pay attention to yourself. Sometimes I think when we're first learning something, because it is cringy, because we are making so many mistakes, we don't want to pay attention to things, because I don't want to pay attention to what my voice sounds like. I don't want to pay attention to the fact that I keep messing up and all that. So no, I'm just going to keep ramming through these practice sessions, feeling terrible by the end, and then I'll come back to it tomorrow and hopefully I'll want to practice again despite what that just did to me. No, no, no. We have to give ourselves the wins. Like, it's not patting yourself on the back and making yourself feel good. It's truly a necessity of growing this skill. If you don't pay attention to the fact that you're growing it, you will stop growing it. That's just the way we work. So if you think that you're putting a lot of effort into something and nothing is coming back from it, let's speak in investment terms. If there's no ROI, why would you keep investing? If I want to get better at this, I have to pay attention to the fact that I am getting better at this. Are you at the finish line? No. Are you at your goal? No. Are you pursuing it though? Yes. And you have to pay attention to the steps that you take towards that goal. One thing that'll help you with that is taking voice lessons, because you'll have somebody who is able to give you the metric, who's able to help you see what you might not be able to see on your own. Truth number 5, your motivation has depth. With my students, my older students who are coming back to singing or even beginning singing for the first time over a certain age, there's usually a desire there to have the joy of singing, to want to have connection through singing, be it joining a choir or joining a worship group, things like that. But there is this deeper connection to singing than competition, than just being better than. It's more about something internal, something meaningful. And I think sometimes it's hard to give yourself permission to make this valuable, to make this meaningful. Like, you need a better reason than I just want to sing if I'm going to invest in singing. But no, you don't need a better reason. The reason is I just want to sing. You may not even recognize what it does for you. So that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it until you do. It means just do it and discover why you've been craving this, why you've had this desire, why singing has been in the back of your mind for years. There is something to it. And especially when you get to a certain age, there definitely is something to it that is worth discovering. Whatever it is. There is also a lived-in artistry that comes from age. You've had a certain number of experiences. You've overcome so much, and your body has responded to that. You've grown through that. You've strengthened through that. You've learned. You might even have more empathy, compassion because of those things you've been through. All of this feeds your artistry when you sing. Yes, the mechanism's different. It's still capable. You have to give it an opportunity. And the reason can simply be because I want to. I think at a certain age, you're allowed to say because I want to. And that's enough. You know, I think you earned that. So I want to close with just stating that you are seen and it is not too late. Your voice deserves attention. It deserves care. It deserves development. And growth is available to you. Your sound, your story, your expression matter. And while speaking of all of this, I might as well say that I also teach voice lessons. So if you are interested in growing your voice, developing your voice, investing in your voice, I'd be happy to be a part of that journey with you. And I have this awesome thing, my voice blueprint session, which is a 90-minute deep dive, really great for just figuring out where your voice is, especially if you just want to know, is it even worth investing in? Do I have potential here? When you come into my voice lessons, when you come into my voice blueprint session, we can actually pinpoint what is going on with your voice, how it is functioning, what is hindering any progress, and I will map out with you the best way to go about building out your skill, your technique, and heading towards your vocal goals. And if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, check out the links in the description. Alrighty, this was a slightly different video than I usually make, but I really wanted to, and I'm very excited about it, and I hope it's been helpful, encouraging. I hope that there are some of you who are now possibly gonna step into this, or just needed to hear this one thing to actually make the next move. And if so, even if it's not working with me, if it's just legitimately trying to sing again, then I've done what I wanted to do here. Alrighty, so thank you so much for coming by. Please leave a like if this video was helpful to you. Leave a comment and let me know what your personal journey has been, or if this has opened up anything for you, or if you have any questions. And if you're interested in more of my voice videos, feel free to check out my playlist that has all of them, or just click on the video that YouTube says you're gonna want to watch next. And thank you again for coming by, and as always, happy singing!